Hey, how's it going, everybody? SirDaVinci here with another weekly vendor reset video for the division. We are now over a week past the release of 1.6 and Last Stand, and a lot of things have obviously changed through that. Having fun with Last Stand, haven't really played it as much, been doing a bit of survival actually, because survival to me, especially for solo players, is probably the most enjoyable thing, including PvP wise and PvE. I personally play PvP because I like the enjoyment of the risk of getting killed by players, although I still also have my moments of getting killed by NPCs also when I go into doing something stupid that I know I shouldn't do. But either way, we're going to get right into the vendor reset video. Starting off here in the base of operations hub with the special equipment vendor weapons, we have our exotic weapons here. This week the Liberator is actually quite good. We got 21% enemy armor damage, 20,000 base damage. We've got responsive, prepared, and adept. Personally, I don't like prepared. I think 30 meters is too far. You're really only going to ever be attempting that when somebody's maybe running away from you or in PvE. And seeing as how right now we're very PvP focused, responsive is a great talent to have on any gun, because most of the time all your gunfights are going to be happening up close within the 10-meter limit on this talent. And then it also has adept, which obviously critical hit chance with assault rifles isn't all that great. You primarily want to focus critical hit chance on SMGs, which even then, now that SMGs have critical hit chance as their base bonus passive ability, you also don't really have to stack a critical hit chance on that, but still a good talent, especially in the third slot if you're not running an electronics build. So what I would personally do is roll away prepared. If you're running for a PvP focus build, I would probably go with brutal. If you're running PvE, you could do destructive. But either way, definitely a very good rolled Liberator this time, and it's basically I think it's an M4, the lightweight M4 variant. So that's a very good variant, especially when it comes to recoil, because it's a vertical recoil instead of horizontal, which to me most weapons are vertical, so you kind of get used to that. And once you get a horizontal recoil weapon like the AK, it's kind of harder to control or get used to. Next we got the Pecan this week. Not the greatest talents. We've got Meticulous and Capable, and obviously the Pecan's talent itself. Cassidy, we've got Swift, Ferocious, and Boomstick. Centurion, we've got Competent. And Historian, also not that great, with Competent, Determined, and obviously History repeats. I am waiting to buy this thing until it actually has a couple of good rolls on it for talents, but until then I am going to pass. Next up in the same vendor, we have a decent military P416 here with 22% enemy armor damage, 19.9 thousand base damage. We've got Destructive, which is great for PvP, or PvE, sorry. Talented, I would personally roll away for Brutal or Destructive. Or actually, it's already got Destructive. Brutal, then, in that case. And it also has Skilled in the third slot, which has a high electronics requirement, but it increases your signature skill resources by 5% when you get a headshot kill. Alright, we're now going to scroll through the gear set pieces. A lot of them I've scrolled through before, and actually a lot of them seem pretty useful to me, because I'm kind of rolling to make a Strikers build, what's that one piece called there? Reclaimer build, and also a Predator's Mark and Firecrest build, so definitely some pieces I'm probably going to end up picking up at some point, but let's check them out. Alright, also in the special equipment vendor for Phoenix credits, we have a very good extended mag here with 111% magazine size, 4.5% reload speed, and 5.1% rate of fire. The only other thing that could be better about this is maybe getting critical hit chance instead of reload speed, but either way, it's still a very well rolled extended mag. Alright, so now moving over to the special blueprints vendor, we have an amazing blueprint, which I didn't even think would ever happen. We got the lightweight M4 blueprint, and right now the lightweight M4 is probably the best assault rifle in the game, other than the Elvoa. Would probably run around. And just to scroll through the other blueprints available this week, I will show you them just in case you are interested personally. We've got the Surplus SVD, which is actually a very good semi-automatic sniper rifle. It has very low recoil for semi-automatic, so you can kind of pull the trigger to the actual RPM that it has and actually still be accurate with it. Stamina vest, heavy magazine, which I wouldn't suggest whatsoever. Always go with extended mags, and an electronics gear mod. Alright, now moving up, still in the base of operations, to the advanced weaponry vendor. We have first off an extended mag once again, this one also being very good with 110% magazine size, 5% reload speed, and 5.2 rate of fire. So the reload speed and rate of fire are higher, magazine size being 1% lower, but still, if you don't have the Phoenix credits to buy the other one, this is basically the exact same thing with a little better reload speed and rate of fire. We also have a large suppressor here, which has critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and headshot damage. This cannot be used on SMGs, unfortunately. If it could, this would be like a perfect roll. 17% critical hit damage. Obviously, you want to try and get your critical hit damage as high as possible when using SMGs. Having that extra critical hit chance a little bit is definitely helpful. And 6% headshot damage. Having all 3 damage stats on a suppressor is perfect. What I would personally use this on, for me, would be the Bullfrog or the FAMAS, if anyone has not gotten used to that yet. Due to the fact that on console at least, it's almost impossible for me to keep the recoil down while holding down the trigger. So I usually try to stack critical hit damage more than I do in critical hit chance, more than I do headshot damage when I use that thing. So this would actually be like the perfect suppressor to have for that. One other thing I want to show off really quick is that the rewards claim vendor is right here. That's the entrance right there to the base of operations, weapons vendor, gear vendor, and this is the new location for the rewards claim vendor. In my last video, someone commented curious as to where he had gotten moved to. I did comment and respond, but if anyone else is curious and didn't see that, then here he is. Alright, now moving out of the base of operations to our first safe house here, the Wolves Den safe house. We have a very nicely rolled Elavoa here. 22% enemy armor damage, much on the high side. 20.8 thousand base damage, very good. It's got Fierce, Unforgiving, and Destructive. Fierce, I would say roll away, definitely, because of the fact that it has a high electronic requirement. Probably for Brutal is what I would suggest there, or maybe even Responsive if you want, or you're not too confident in hitting headshots. Unforgiving is a very good PvP talent when you're in gunfights, just face-shotting each other. And then we also have Destructive, which isn't as effective in PvP now that we don't have armor as a major stat on armor, but still a good talent in PvE, so it's kind of rolled for both PvE and PvP, which is actually a very good thing to have for Last Stand at least. That way, because of the fact that there's enemies PvE and PvP, so definitely a very good pickup. Alright, next up here at the Dante's Run safe house, we have a very good prototype performance mod here with 5.5% first aid self-heal. I believe the max is 6%, but definitely a very good prototype performance mod to have for anyone running solo, especially to increase your effectiveness of your first aid, especially if you're not really running an electronics build. Otherwise, your first aid isn't really going to heal you all that much, so definitely a good pickup. Alright, now moving on to Camp Hudson, the hub where you first start the game. Here at the weapons vendor, we have a black market SASG with 316.5% stagger, 99.9 thousand base damage. It has Swift, Vicious, and Brutal. Swift isn't all that necessary. If you would like to keep it, you could. But I personally would roll that away for something like Destructive if you're going to be using it in PvE. Or for PvP, you could even use Unforgiving, or actually probably the best talent to use here would probably be Responsive. Personally, I would suggest that. Having the Vicious isn't all that bad. I could probably roll that away for something else, but also having Brutal here for this shotgun specifically is actually quite good due to the fact that it's one of the highest accuracy shotguns. Actually, it could potentially be the highest accuracy shotgun, and right now in PvP the stagger is ridiculous when getting shot by shotguns, especially these guys at the high rate of fire that they shoot. You can definitely use that to your advantage and put in a bunch of shots if you're on an extended mag on this guy with 14 shots. You could probably take someone down if they're sitting still long enough, especially with Brutal. If you can hit your headshots, you'll definitely take them out. Alright, next up here at the Madison Stand safe house, we have a decent prototype firearms mod here with 232 firearms and 3004 health. The firearms are on the lower side and the health is about average to high tier, but if you guys need firearms mods with some health, keep yourself a little tanky, then definitely a good pickup if you need it. Alright, next up down here in the bottom right corner of the Dark Zone, East 31st Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we have a Prototype Performance Mod with 4% Seeker Mind damage. If anyone's still running that, I know they can do a pretty good job of bleeding your opponent and chase them down while they're running. Personally, I found them pretty easy to counter though with shooting them or using grenades. But nonetheless, if you use them, 4% times 4 would be 16% extra Seeker Mind damage to take your enemies down. And I actually saw something about a potential one-shot Seeker Mind damage build going around right now. So as much as I don't like to abuse things that are overpowered, I guess for anyone interested, I guess you could check that out. Alright, next up down here at 5th Ave, which is the very most southern Dark Zone checkpoint there is. We have here a prototype performance mod with 7% support station duration to keep that support station duration healing and up on your teammates and yourself for as long as possible. Alright, next up here at the West 31st Street Dark Zone checkpoint in the bottom left corner, we have a C79 scope 3.4 times zoom with 16% critical hit damage, 3% critical hit chance, and 2.5% stability. Definitely a pretty good scope to have for the MP7. I think would probably get the most use out of this one due to the fact that the MP7 has the pretty bad recoil for the fact that it has like the highest RPM for SMGs. 2.5% not being a lot, but still obviously having that third slot would probably be better off with headshot damage, but since it's stability, either way, definitely a good scope to have for SMGs. You don't necessarily want to stack too much critical hit chance because you don't really need it all that much due to the fact that you can reach the cap quite easily. Personally, I do still stack a little bit of critical hit chance here and there on my attachments, and then having the extra critical hit damage on them is very good. Alright, next up at the West 39th Street Dark Zone checkpoint, here we have a couple of things. We got some tactical gloves with the Savage talent. We got 1131 firearms, a bit on the low side. I think the base armor is a little low too. But anyone looking for Savage gloves, these ones are not bad, especially if you're using SMGs. It's already got SMG damage and a critical hit chance, so you would probably roll away the skill haste for the critical hit damage, and you would have some decent, at least, Savage gloves for SMGs. And also here we have prototype performance mod with 7% turret health to keep that turret alive as long as possible, because I know when anyone's getting burned up by a fire turret or shocked up by a shock turret, the first thing they want to do after getting hit once is just destroy the heck out of that thing. And if you stack enough health on it, it's going to take the focus away from the player long enough for you to pop some shots in him while he's burning at the same time. Alright, here at the West 53rd Street Dark Zone checkpoint, we have a prototype electronics mod with 251 electronics and 3,192 health. 251 electronics, not quite up high to the max cap you can get there, but still pretty good, along with 3,192 health, which is going to keep you a little tanky at the same time as trying to get your skills a lot stronger. Alright, now heading into the Dark Zone. First off, here at our DZ08 safe house at the gear vendor, the special vendor, we've got gear set pieces here, which I will scroll through now. Alright, now on the DZ09 safe house, here we have the weapon mod vendor with a quick release magazine, flash hider, hand stop, and a holographic sight with optimal range. I wouldn't suggest any of those. And then upstairs here at the special vendor, we have more gear sets, which I will scroll through. Alright guys, one more last thing I would like to point out is the premium vendor here now at the base of operations hub where all the DLCs are. This is new. It's basically in-game currency that you can use, you can buy with real money. You can buy in bulks of like 500s. I believe $5 gets you 500. And we also got a bonus of 200 of them if you log in between now and the 13th because of the 1-year anniversary of the game. So if you want to check out anything, you definitely can. I personally went and got a few skins that I personally like. I'm not going to show them all, but ones I would like to point out that are probably the top 3 this week are, first off, the one I'm using right now on all of my guns, which is the Spectrum Core. It's kind of like a fade kind of like thing from CSGO. It looks really nice in my opinion, and it kind of has somewhat of a shine to it when you're outside. That one I very much like. I also got a couple others. We've got the Ryujin here. This one I didn't really like all that much, and we also got the Fracture, which actually looks pretty good on some pistols and some other weapons that I got. I also think I got another one that I would like to point out. Oh yes, the Smiley Smirk. This is one I got before the Spectrum one. I didn't see the Spectrum one right away, and I got this one, but I do also very much enjoy this one. I think this one's really cool, and I actually got the same skin on my backpack. I don't know if I can preview it like that. Here we go. So there's that. It looks very nice. If you use the same skin on your backpack as you do your weapon, it really looks really nice. But either way, the Spectrum is definitely the top camo for this. I don't know, it resets every 2 weeks. Of vendor resets, and it is going to have different stuff, they said. So if you do want to get any of these camos I just showed you, or any other ones that are here this week, or during this period of time, I also noticed this Inferno Cactus one actually looks extremely nice too. I can't really get a close-up of it, but you can see it on my weapons right now because I have preview on. This one I think will probably be the next one I get, if I get any. I think that one looks really nice, so definitely check this stuff out if you guys are interested. This is the kind of stuff, I know a lot of people like microtransactions, but this is the kind of stuff that's going to make all the DLC, which, if you guys didn't hear, the DLC for year 2 is going to be free. They have 2 for sure guaranteed updates that are going to include other content that are guaranteed going to be free. The first one, I don't know or remember all of the details, but one of them is that I'm most happy about is loadouts. So if you guys have multiple builds on the same character, say you want to really quickly switch over to something else rather than having to pay attention to what's your best in each slot and go through all your pieces of gear in your inventory and stash, that'll definitely save you a lot of time from having to go through all that kind of stuff. The only issue is for me is obviously if you want to do that, you're going to want to have gear mods that like for each piece of gear. And currently right now I have 4 or 5 of each type of gear mod, but obviously if I have all my stamina ones on one set of gear, I'm gonna have to switch them over to the other sets. That's still gonna be a little tedious, but either way, definitely gonna be an awesome addition to the game in my opinion. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's vendor reset video for the Division. Really appreciate all the feedback. I've been getting a decent, consistent amount of views for each video, and it's really awesome. I do want to change it up. I have a lot of other videos I do want to upload. I know I said I was going to do some build ones. I haven't yet to finish a build. I mean, I'm not trying to mid-max. I just can't seem to get the pieces I need, and that's why I've been doing survival a lot. Last Stand was actually a really good way to get gear, but only if you're doing good. And after spending a day or 2 away from it, a lot of people are really good at it, obviously better than me, and you're not guaranteed wins, especially if you're not in a full group, and I play solo, as you know. So currently right now for gear wise, I've been going to Last Stand, but right now I believe it's from the 11th to the 13th. If you look at the top of my screen right now, it says double reward, earn double rewards from taking down high value targets. So if you guys don't know what the high value targets are, if you go and look around on the map, if you see a safe house with a blue ring around it like this one, you go there and look for the like the billboard, the post-it board that has like the map, and you can basically hold X to activate it, and it'll give you 3 locations to go and take out enemies at. And after you complete it, the one with the blue ones give you a lot more intel. Let me go to my pouch here. This where is it? Right here, the target intel. You get target intel for completing those, and also some of the enemies that you kill will also sometimes drop them. And what you do with that target intel is you go over here. There's also these 2 guys in the upstairs of the base of operations, but we got the weekly high value target officer and daily. The daily gives lower rewards, but the enemies are easier to complete, and the weekly ones are tougher, the toughest one being here. And look at the amount of gear that you will get right now just from completing this, and that's just the stuff that you get from completing it. Some of these high ones, like I think these 3 right here, have up to 3 bosses that you kill, and each of the bosses are also going to have like 3 to 4, you know, high-end or even gear set piece drops. So right now, if you're looking for gear, definitely take advantage of this high-value target stuff. I tried to get a friend into doing it, and he thought it was boring, but personally, I kind of a little fun. A decent amount of fun. You know, you play some music while you're getting the target intel, and then, you know, just mess around and kind of just play the game. Like, you know, it's not the most fun thing, but it's also not the most boring grind kind of a thing. And it's also very easy to get the target intel up high. So definitely check this stuff out. This is what I used to do for gear before survival, and even after survival I was still doing this kind of stuff because of the amount of Phoenix credits you also get. And I think, yeah, the Phoenix credit reward is actually doubled too, so I'm probably going to be doing this a lot in the next couple over the weekend, because I think it ends on Sunday or Monday. So definitely take advantage of it while it's here. Don't miss out. Very easy way to get Phoenix credits and items, obviously. But thanks for watching, guys. I know if you notice, my voice might be off a little bit. I can't really tell personally how it sounds right now, but I have been sick over the past week. But hopefully it came out okay and you guys could hear me clearly. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.